Hi, everybody. Welcome back. My next guest is Flindt Andersen. He is the owner and founder of PAIN, Parents and Addicts in Need. Flindt, welcome to my show today.
Thank you, Austin. Appreciate you having me.
I interviewed you probably 5-6 years ago.
I remember.
Yeah, when I did my conversation on KAIL, so it's
right.
Good to see you again. What's
Thank you.
new? What's changed?
Oh, gosh, everything. Went from running a nonprofit, which we still do, to now have a full-fledged detox residential program. That I've been working with the same woman for about 15 years. She had it down in Southern California, and we moved the operation up here because the Valley really needs it.
Now, the Hanford location, tell me the reasoning why you put it there.
Yeah, one of the reasons is we like getting people out of their hometowns. And even though Hanford's not too far from Fresno, it's still a little distance away. We have a little bit more control over the situation. A lot of people won't leave, in case they just get a wild hair, right, that they want to leave and this isn't for them. And like I said, we basically have a little more control over the situation. Yeah.
I got to talk about the 2021 Nonprofit of the Year Award in not just Fresno, not just Central California, but in the entire Golden State. And that was awarded to PAIN.
Yes, it was. That was a complete shock. I was actually down in Newport. I was playing golf with some relatives, and I coming up the fairway, and I got the call from Jim Patterson's office that we were awarded, this prestigious award, and I about fell out of my golf cart. And
of course you were golfing, right?
Of course I was golfing. I mean, it was have to do it. Yeah, and so again, very honored. We've been in business since 2009. We've helped. I can't tell you how many thousands of families over the years, and how many people that have been addicted to substances, and now we started a Narcan ministry. That because Narcan is extremely difficult to get if you don't have a prescription for it, and then you have to pay for it, as well at the pharmacy. We give it away for free because we believe that Narcan now is like an EpiPen. It's like a fire extinguisher in your home. It's something that every household needs to have, even if somebody in your family is not using a substance. The fentanyl crisis is so severe in our area that your kids may have a friend that is using it and you don't even know they're using it. And what happens if that young person or even an older person, overdoses in your house? You have seconds, literally seconds, to get to somebody. And this is an opioid reversal agent that will bring them out of the overdose if you get it to them soon enough.
Tell me a little bit about what makes your centers different from others.
First
Do I need to time you on this?
Yeah. First of all, I'm in recovery. So I got clean and sober in 2001 after many attempts, and now have 20 years of recovery. And I think the difference between us and other places do a fine job. But we're a little more hard-hitting. We're a little more reality. We're not going to promise somebody a cure, because there isn't a cure for addiction. Most people don't understand that. It's manageable. It can be done. It's not easy, especially in those first 2 to 4 years of early recovery. And we support families in this, which is extremely important. We have one of the best, if not finest, family support groups in the state, right here in Fresno on Wednesday nights, 6:30 to 8:30.
Which just recently went back to in-person.
Yes, starting tonight, which is pretty cool. And not only do we have people that have been coming for 9 years, 10 years, 8 years, we also like people coming to be proactive, so they can learn about addiction, learn about what they can and cannot do in this. That is ultimately important for families to understand, because most families aren't going to get it.
Right. Yeah. It's a whole new world.
It's a whole new world. And again, especially with fentanyl, what we're seeing, the number of deaths that we're seeing, the number of overdoses in general that we're seeing. Most people don't read about those on a Friday night. We get the reports. We know the people. We've had 4 people lose their kids in the last 6 months. In their rooms, at night, 4 o'clock in the morning, headset still on. They were playing Xbox, and parents walked in there at 11 o'clock the next morning, and their kids were dead. 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Because they're taking pills that are laced with fentanyl. They're taking Xanax pills. That's the number one drug among high school kids. And so drug dealers will lace that fentanyl pressed pill with fentanyl, and it's odorless, it's tasteless, and drug dealers don't know how to lace it properly. So the young person takes it, and they're probably dead within 20 minutes.
Would you say this fentanyl crisis is primarily hitting these younger kids?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, fentanyl is hitting the younger kids, and what I mean by that is that 15 to 35-year-old bracket. Surprisingly enough, now 60-year-olds and above have made a major run, if that's what you want to call it, to the second group of those dependent upon opioids. Because a lot of 60-year-old plus have been taking them for years for sore backs, sore knees, and again, people don't realize you can become dependent on that drug in about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Holy
that doesn't mean
God.
you're a drug addict. That doesn't mean you've got drug addict behavior.
Sure.
But you literally can become dependent on that drug. So when you stop taking it, now you're going to feel lousy. You're going to feel like you have the flu. And then you decide to take another one, well, all those symptoms go away.
It's very, very easy to get addicted to something like that.
You bet. Now that dependency at some point is going to turn into addict behavior because you're going to do whatever it takes to get that drug in your system. I mean, look, at the end of my using, I was taking between 70 and 80 Vicodin every day. And I was taking those to feel normal. Wasn't even taking
You weren't
it to
even
be,
really getting high
I wasn't.
at that point.
No, I wasn't getting high.
Yeah.
No,
it was just,
not at all.
You didn't feel like you were dying.
You bet.
I want to talk a little bit about, obviously we've been through the year from you-know-where with COVID, and we've had hundreds of thousands of deaths, but there's a story that hasn't been much in the news, and that is also in the last year, the last 12 months, we've had over 100,000 overdose deaths just in the United States. Yeah. Now, when I do that kind of math, I think of it as, that's another pandemic.
It is a pandemic. The facts are this. Opioid overdoses are more prevalent than gunshots, motor vehicle accidents, and COVID combined. And those numbers, even in my opinion, are somewhat skewed because you're not always going to get that correct report from a coroner's office. They will list it as an accidental poisoning instead of a drug overdose. And I think there's a misnomer about fentanyl. A lot of people thought Fresno has been dealing with this for the last 4 or 5 years. We haven't. This has become more prevalent in the last year and a half. But to the extent, to the extent that DEA has a task force here in Fresno County and they have one in San Diego County. Those are the only 2 counties where there is an actual fentanyl task force in place because it's that prevalent right here in our valley.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. This is an interview full of statistics.
Yes, it is.
It's
Yes, it
needed
is.
statistics, though. We are running out of time. I want to ask you to, anybody that's watching today, whether they have a problem and they want to get help, or parents, their kid is experiencing a problem. Right. What do you suggest they do? They're watching this right now.
Yeah. One of the things they can do is reach out to me. I give my cell phone number out to everybody, and that's 559-978-1507. That phone stays on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They can also call the PAIN office, Parents and Addicts in Need, at 579-1551. and we will bring the parents in. We will talk to them first about their loved one and what that loved one is going through and give them options. I also have a treatment facility called New Perceptions North that we've been working with the same people for 15 years now, started it here. We're pretty good at what we do, and we know what we're doing. And if you call me on those two numbers, we can, of course, get you set up to get your loved one into treatment if that's what's needed.
And by the way, I was honored to go on your podcast.
Yes, you were.
With you and Darren. Darren is the executive director of Pain.
Right.
We had a fun conversation.
Yes, we did.
When is that going to come out?
That's going to be in 2 weeks, I believe.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Austin Reed on Don't Hide the Scars.
Don't hide the scars.
Yeah,
That's
it was
right.
we had a great time
It
with
was
you,
fun.
my friend.
It really
yeah,
was.
we did.
And we had like an hour to chat.
Yeah, we did.
This interview is only 10 minutes, so
Yeah.
that means you got to come back.
I'll come back anytime you need me to.
All right,
brother.
Flindt. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Austin. Appreciate it.
I'm Austin Breed. We will be right back.